Hello everyone, I'm Nini FC, this is Blue Lions TV. Welcome to another Q&A live stream. Good to see everyone. Sorry for that little small delay. I was just trying to get my lights working, to be honest. Obviously, when you use a green screen, you got to make sure your lighting is very good. And at the time, it was kind of fucking up a bit, but it's all good now. It's all here. Everyone doing 170 people. I mean, you guys, it's been so crazy how many people are like interacting in these live streams right now. I remember before I'd probably get up to 200. Now I'm getting past 500, 600, 1,000. It's been crazy. Like when I had 100% Chelsea on Eunice, I had about like 1,250 people. Like I've never had that before. So thank you to everyone that's obviously supporting the content, because again, anytime I do this stuff, I'm always trying to think like, what does a Chelsea fan actually want to view? What they care about? You know what I mean? So I'm glad to see that people are actually like vibing with it. So yeah, it's good to see everyone here. I'm gonna get straight into asking questions right now. There's a lot to talk about, you guys. I'm sure a lot of you guys have a lot of things you want answered or want to discuss. So this is the opportunity for you guys, of course, because there's a lot of people streams. It's not possible for me to always go through all of them. Otherwise, I'd be here all. You know, if you do want your question prioritized, or if you just want to support the channel, the super chat, and yeah, get your question prioritized. But yeah, looking for some questions to ask. Okay, wow. Again, there's so many questions coming through. Kwame, Nini, you confident on us getting Martial? You guys, and again, I'm saying this from my personal opinion. I don't want it to be used against me where someone says, oh, you told me this was going to happen. No, for my personal opinion, I do feel a bit confident. I mean, with everything coming out, it's just cementing all the things I've been telling you guys in videos. Remember that Martial video I released, but I was giving you guys some of the exclusive stuff behind what was happening. And then obviously, you know, the price fee and, you know, Martial wanting to leave. Again, what's not being reported is that his agent has already been speaking to clubs already. And he's already spoken to Chelsea a few times already too. That's definitely happened. 1,000% that's happened. That's not me guessing. I've been told this. There's been consistent communication between Martial and Chelsea. Now, I was told too during the weekend that expect us to actually, you know, offer an official bid for Martial. But at the same time, he told me, again, it's not everything I'm going to put straight in a video, because I want to try and make sure everything's concrete. You know what I mean? So that's why I don't try to gas too many people up. But I think that with the efforts Chelsea have been making already in regards to Martial, I definitely think they do want to sign the guy. And it's going to come down to United's. As I'm saying with the Willian thing, this could be a blessing in disguise that he isn't going to Barcelona. Willian really, really wanted the Barcelona move. And now it looks like it's potentially over. That could mean that there's an escape route to Manchester United on the cards, because I'm guessing Chelsea would want to sell. You know, it's very rare you can command more than 50 million for someone that's nearly 30 years old. You're never going to get that same price for him. And if you can sign a top-class young replacement, I think it makes too much sense. Now, as I'm always stressing all the time, I rate Willian a lot. I think he's a great player. I don't want people to think that I don't rate him because I want him to go. I'm just thinking sometimes you got to think for the future. You got to think long term. You got to think critically and just leave the emotion to the side a bit. It makes sense, you guys. For someone that's nearly approaching 30, as I said, he hasn't been offered a new contract. If Chelsea gave him a new contract, then I don't think we'd be considering selling him at all. So as I kept saying, you guys, for me, that really stressed the importance that, yeah, it looks like this guy could be going if the right money comes in. Now, all of us were pretty shocked by how much his fee is commanding right now, with Barca preparing bids more than 50 million for Willian. Again, it's coming out too that Martial's fee could be around 50 million too. You know, once players announce that they do want to leave, it kind of makes it harder for the parent club to really get the fee they want at times. You know, I don't think United can really command 90 million and hundreds of millions for Martial. I don't think they can do that. I think there's definitely an option where a Willian Martial deal could be a thing that gets everything secured. You guys, as I keep stressing, we've got another 3 weeks. No, not even 3 weeks. Like another 2.5 weeks until the window ends. A lot of stuff's going to be happening during this next 2.5 weeks. A lot. So it is going to get pretty crazy. Okay, what other questions are there? Thank you for that question, bro. Real talk. I hope we get Golovin in and Hudson gets a real go. That'd be interesting. I think with Golovin, I think he's a good player. I just don't necessarily care too much about him because I think we've got players already, and I'd rather focus our attentions on, you know, those key signings. You know, someone like a Dembele, someone like a Martial or a Bailey. I think that makes more sense, and it's going to make the team stronger for the future. Adam said Chelsea should go for Denis Suarez from Barcelona. He would be perfect fit for Sarri, but he is another good player, but I don't necessarily think that he's going to elevate the team. You know, the players I'm thinking of are players that can upgrade the team, not be good replacements for players, but someone that can take us to another level. They're the type of signings we need to make. Mr. Bass, okay, you get 50 million for Willian. Willian could play another 3 years. That's worth more than 50 million. Yeah. CFC 15 days left, not even too long now. Jack Marshall, do you think past his full contract? Okay, when it comes to this stuff, as I think I've spoken about this in videos and in other live streams as well. Here's the thing, you guys. For me personally, you know, let's not be naive. There's a possibility Sarri could stay in the long term. That's going to depend on how well he does and how successful he is. But let's be realistic. Sarri, he might not necessarily be here to fulfill his whole contract. Maybe he will, maybe he won't. Maybe he might be here for 2 to be the going average recently. But here's the thing, you guys. With someone like Sarri, he implements that philosophy. And even if he does go, the club are still going to be stable because that philosophy is intact. And it's going to make it easy when it comes to finding a replacement for Sarri. Because here's the thing. Let's say potentially Sarri is sacked. You have to go for a manager that plays with a pretty similar style. You can't go from Sarri back to someone like Simeone, for example. It doesn't work like that. So he is going to be there. And for me, that's the most exciting thing about why I really wanted Sarri to come. Okay, Diego Lazzo. Hey, man, you good? This boss, Donnarumma. Hey, he makes sense. I mean, he's a young player. He can definitely improve. And the thing is, even if he doesn't do bits and become a world-class keeper, you know that with his age and this market, you're going to get some of your money back, if not your full transfer back for him. So if something happens with that, it makes sense. But this whole talks of Areola, that's pretty interesting. You know, I was told this weekend from my source that, expect Raiola to try and push Areola to Chelsea. So when the reports are saying that we're the ones making a bid, I'm not believing it. It's the fact that obviously they're trying to push Areola to us. It's interesting to see, but you know, something still tells me as well, I wouldn't be surprised to see Courtois stay. Chelsea force him to sign a new contract, but they promise to let him go for the following season. I think that can make quite a lot of sense. And again, that's my personal opinion. I'm not saying that, you know, this is 100% fact. I'm just trying to make some logical conclusions here. But I think I've got a super chat. Give me 1 second so I can get to them. And you guys, for all the Patreon subscribers, I will be answering your questions at the end of the stream. That's where I can focus more time on them. So don't worry about that. Okay, let me go and check the super chats. Come on. Okay, sweet. Hey, Flanagan, thank you, bro. Your question is, why do you think we did not pursue Malcolm? I kind of feel maybe we didn't pursue Malcolm because we were focusing on other targets. And maybe we didn't... I'm not going to say we didn't rate Malcolm because I don't know that. My answer is that maybe we're just targeting other players for that position. That's how... thank you for your question and thank you for the super chat as well. It helps the channel a lot. Christian Valadez, hey bro, you good? Are Chelsea waiting until they sell Willian to go for Roma, going for Bailey as Malcolm's alternative? If anything, maybe that could help speed things up. I think, you know, obviously, I released that long video on the Leon Bailey story and situation. You know, Craig Butler's a very difficult person to work with. Not in the sense that he's just stupid, but it's the fact that, you know, he's a businessman. He wants to make sure he gets the terms that benefits him. And I think, you know, as I was saying in the video, you know, how they're seeing it is that if Bailey does leave Bayer Leverkusen, his next club will be massive because you're going to expect him to play there, you know, to play for a big club. You're going to expect good, attractive proposition and proposal. Roma going in for Bailey, maybe. I don't know necessarily if they could afford him, to be honest, because there's no way in hell Bailey's going for 35 million. Remember, that's the fee they agreed with board. I can't imagine Roma spending double or triple that to try and sign Leon Bailey. So again, it'll be interesting to see. But yeah, I don't know. It's just going to be a long, complicated thing. Of course, they got their commitments to. Let's see what happens with the Leon Bailey situation. But again, man, thank you for that super chat. Other questions. Akindele, Douglas Costa is needed greatly. Well, he's at Juventus right now. I think he plays on the left-hand side more than the right-hand side. I mean, yeah, he is a good player. But I think he was a pretty key player for Juventus last season. So I can't imagine wanting to sell him. I think they just agreed to sign him outright too this year, didn't they? So I don't think Douglas Costa is going to happen. CFC Ash, lag. Sorry about that. I don't know why it's lagging. I really don't. My audio? Oh, fucking hell. Why the audio is messing up? Ay. I can't do any... I don't think the audio is wrong. Is there lag? Audio, you guys, I don't know what's happening with the audio. That makes no sense. You guys, is it lagging for anyone else? Is it lagging for anyone else? Because I only see one person. Okay, it seems like it is lagging. I don't know what's happening then, you guys. For my end, everything's pretty seamless. Everything's pretty smooth. So hopefully just keep your patience and hopefully it sorts itself out. But I've got another super chat. Thank you for that. That's from Josh Perry. Thanks, man. And thanks for always supporting the channel. You guys, I'm not going to lie. I do notice a lot of you guys that do like to support. And it is it's a massive help. I appreciate that. But at the same time, I don't want to feel like I'm milking people. You know, there is a Patreon option there where it is for you and you will get the same. If anyone is interested in considering that, that's an option where obviously you're saving yourself a lot more money. But your question is, what signings do you think will definitely happen? Now, that is a very hard one. That is very hard, you know. From the Italian media, for example, when they were talking about Higuain, you would have thought that he's definitely a certainty. But then I'm hearing that Chelsea aren't even talking to him at all. So that is, that's pretty interesting. I think Rugani seems like a possibility. But again, talks of Caldara, if he potentially goes, I mean, again, I'm guessing that Juventus won't sell until they have a replacement. They're not going to sell him if they don't have one. I think there's talks of Milan being interested in Caldara. There's even talks of a possible Bonucci return to Juventus. So, that could make things a bit complicated. As I'm saying with Golovin. Now, from what, when I report the Golovin story, you guys, I've never once said that it's from me personally. You know what I mean? If I don't hear anything, I'm not going to pretend. I'll never do that. For me, it's still like a bit of fun in a sense. But again, when it comes to... Is it too much lag? Honestly, I don't know where the lag's coming from. Like I'm saying, from my end, everything's really smooth. I'm not noticing any lag. Because I always leave the live stream up as I'm doing this. So, again, I'm not seeing anything. Let me try and see what's happening. Yeah, it says my stream status is really good too. Like, it's saying that it's working really well. So you guys might have to... It's probably your connection, to be honest. Audio is... Oh, fucking hell. This shit. Hello. Everything's really smooth. I'm not noticing anything. Because I always leave the live stream up as I'm doing this. Yeah, there is no lag. Yeah, no lag. Okay. Sorry, you guys. You guys, it's your connection. Like, don't get me scared like that. Fuck you. I was getting pissed off then. But yeah, getting back to your question, Josh Perry, it's hard. I was saying when it came to Golovin, I didn't hear anything concrete. I didn't claim that I had anything exclusive. I was getting this from what the media was saying, and obviously what we're seeing too from social media as well. But then I was told to on the weekend that it's looking like there's a possibility that Golovin will be signing for Monaco in the end. But again, you guys, as we saw from last night when Malcolm was on the flight to Rome and then he cancelled it afterwards, things can happen very, very quickly. I mean, literally, that transfer ended in the 11th hour. I didn't get to finish listening to what Monkey had to say about the whole situation, but it's just a reality of how football works. So, we say guarantees, let's not 100%. But I think if we say maybe like 75%, I think that's a good metric to stand by. So far, from what I'm hearing, maybe is a possibility that I don't know, the possibility of the Rugani thing, maybe Golovin too, maybe Marshall as well. They're the three main ones that the club are really focusing their attentions on. At the end of the day, if we secure them or not, I don't know, but they're the three players we're currently focusing a lot of our attentions on. Thank you for that, and thank you for Marlon Lopez. Your question is, would you go for Morata Suso swap? I rate him highly. Now, Suso is a very good player, plays on the right hand side, cuts inside as well. Very good link up, very good shooting ability as well. But I don't know, I kind of see Suso as like maybe the Zappa Costa option. If we fail to get, you know, guys like your Baileys or Dembele's or whoever, then I can imagine the Zappa Costa option being someone like a Suso. That's not saying he's a shit player, of course not. But that's like one of those players where it's like, shit, we haven't got our first, second, third targets. We have to get someone for the right-hand side. Fuck it, let's get this guy. You know what I mean? So he's a good player, but ideally I'm hoping that we wouldn't necessarily, obviously, I wouldn't do a Morata Suso swap. I wouldn't, because Morata's worth much more than Suso. So nah. I think if I was to sell Morata, I'd rather get cash for that instead of doing a player swap. I think, let's say with Suso, let's say he doesn't work out. What can you really do with the guy? You're not really going to be able to make money off him if you sell him. I don't think it makes any sense. Okay. Other questions. Brian F. Would you take money plus Kovacic or 200 million for Eden Hazard? Well, again, if we were to sell Hazard, I would just want money for him. I don't want any player replacements. I think with Kovacic, I mean, I don't think he's really needed. You know, we've got Jorginho and Cesc for that role. I don't think he's not a box-to-box player. He's not really that Hamsik type of player as well. That does like to break the line. So I don't really think he makes any sense for us. Okay, Duranid Razak, hey man, hey Nini. Can you open a fantasy football league for the coming season? Okay, you guys, let me know in the comment section afterwards. Do you want me to start a fantasy league, a Blue Lions TV fantasy league? Okay, and your other question is, would be interesting, Bailey versus Dembele. For me, I would probably go for Dembele just because he's ambidextrous. And I know I just butchered that pronunciation. But I like that. I think he can be developed to have more of a goal threat. But already, the guy's incredible in the final third when it comes to playing the right passes. I mean, when he was at Dortmund, you know, to get 20 assists for his age was incredible. I think he's someone that can really become anything once the right coach is working with him. And we've got that in Sarri. He likes to work with these guys. It happens during the training sessions as well. I think that's definitely going to be something that entices a lot of players now. As I keep stressing you guys, you know, Chelsea are a different proposition because, you know, we do have a footballing manager. You know, he does want to play football. He does look to improve you. And that's going to entice players. Ian O'Connell, hey man. Ahmed Hassan, any chance Hazard returns but doesn't sign a new contract and takes this year as proof year for... Okay. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I get what you're trying to say. I was hearing something about Hazard, but at the same time, until I get news that's like really, really 100% concrete, then obviously I'm not going to release a video just yet. But what I'm hearing is that Chelsea... I'm hearing this from both sources. I just don't know how much the fee is. But what I'm hearing is that Chelsea are looking to give him a new contract. And it's looking like it could even be past more than 400,000 is what I'm currently hearing. But if anything, you know, Hazard's not going, you guys. I mean, as someone said, there's like, what, 15 days left of this window. No way in hell are Chelsea selling Hazard, their best player. The best player for the past 8 years. Not 8 years. Since he signed, he's been our best player. Let's be serious. So we're not selling a guy like that in the last 15, 14 days. Like, it's not happening. Okay, thank you for that question. Tom Lacey, hey Nini. You're the one-stop shop for Chelsea content. Thank you, bro. Do you see Rob Green coming in with a signal? Will signal the end of Kale and Drinkwater considering the homegrown quota? Yes, I think that makes a lot of sense. As Carefree Youth, you know, rightly said, it was pretty annoying seeing Eduardo being a third-choice goalkeeper because, again, the guy's never going to play really needed at all. And it's like he is taking that homegrown position. Now, he has been sent on loan to Vitesse, which makes sense. And, you know, Chelsea need to sign a third-choice goalkeeper, I think, who is English, to fill that quota. I think Rob Green does make quite a lot of sense. And yeah, I think with Cahill, again, this guy wants to play games. I don't think he necessarily wants to stay on the bench just yet. And Drinkwater, it's the same situation for him as well. So it's looking like both these guys could be leaving. I've got another super chat. Thank you for that, man. A Flanagan again and Gazman997. Thank you guys a lot. Gazman997. Chances of Thiago signing out of 10. By the way, no lag, and thank you for that. Now again, this whole Thiago thing is coming from Kicker and ESPN, so let's be serious. It's not the most reliable. Again, it is just reinforcing that point that, you know, Bayern Munich need to sell players, and ideally they would like to sell. There's no way in hell they can command 70 million euros for Thiago, not when he's this injury prone. They're going to have to be forced to sell him for every... Who knows? Who knows, you guys? I mean, this is what happens in the transfer window. It's always hard to really predict because sometimes players are available that weren't available at the start, and sometimes players that you thought were available end up not becoming available. I mean, for example, reports saying that Dembele isn't happy with the situation. I mean, let's be serious, you know. He hasn't really settled down at Barcelona just yet. He can't fully speak the language as well. It's been hard for him, you know, he's a young guy. On top of that, maybe after the signing of Malcolm, maybe that's pushing him. It's like, you know what, maybe I do need to leave. I need to be happy. I need to play my football. Maybe it is time to find somewhere else to play. Because with Malcolm, but I don't know, you guys. I think with Barca, with Suarez, it wasn't as if Suarez had his best year. He is getting older. I wouldn't even be surprised if we see situations where Messi is playing centrally again. I mean, we know with Valverde, they don't even use really that 4-3-3 anymore. It is like a 4-4-2. So, again, I kind of see Malcolm is replacing Dembele on the right-hand side. That's how I'm kind of seeing it. So, potentially, he could be going. But, yeah, I know it's a long-winded answer I'm giving you. But I'm saying with Thiago, you know, this has been a report that's been coming out for many months, even before the season ended, that they would be looking to sell him. And who knows, you know, maybe he could be leaving in the next 2 weeks. It's really hard for me to give something out of 10. I'll probably just say 50-50 for now, because again, you know, Bayern need to sell, but who knows where he's going to go to. I mean, we can take educated guesses. He's not going to go to Man City. They don't need him. Maybe actually, who knows? Maybe Man City. I mean, they were targeting Jorginho. I can see Thiago playing that type. He can fulfill a lot of roles in midfield. He can play that, dictates the whole game. Of course, Pep used to love him a lot too at Barcelona. Maybe that could be a player that Man City decide to target. But I think reports were even coming out stating that they wouldn't even look to sign a replacement for Jorginho, and I think they'd keep the same midfield. But with the transfer window, you don't know. You know, things change all the time. A Flanagan, thank you for that super chat, man. You think it would be better for Ampadu to stay as a fourth centre back or go out on loan? I think that's a hard one. I think with Ampadu, he isn't really needed in midfield anymore now. Not with how our midfield will be playing, not when they play with the ball, keep possession. Ampadu isn't that guy that's going to really... I can't see him playing like, you know, 1,000+ passes in midfield. I mean, I can see him maybe doing an Alan role, but I don't think he's got that technique just yet to play in those advanced situations in midfield. I mean, let's be serious, you know. The guy that plays the ball-winning midfield role in a Sarri system, you got to be good on the ball. You got to be technically adept in the final third as well. And your link-up play has to be good. Now, Ampadu, I feel his future is as a centre-back. As we've seen this pre-season, I mean, he's really grown a lot. And sometimes we forget, you guys, you know, these guys are teenagers. We forget that they haven't even fully grown into their bodies just yet. They are growing all the time. Their physique is going to alter, it's going to change. And you're starting to see a really physically imposing Ampadu. And I don't know, I think he makes more sense as a defender. But to answer your question, I do feel maybe a loan move would be good. I don't know, he's the type of guy where ideally he should be in the Bundesliga or something, you know, playing for a good club, for a top club. That's the type of stuff I want to see. I mean, who knows? Who knows? But I think that he's not going to learn much being a fourth choice centre-back, to be honest. And when you've got guys like Christensen, Rudiger, Luiz and Zuma, who knows if he's going to stay or not. I don't really think that it's going to do him justice, you know. But thank you for that super chat. I appreciate that. I got another one, Jordan CFC. Thank you, bro. Any updates on the director of football, Nini? Well, the last video I released was like, I think a month and a bit ago. So that's still pretty current right now. Again, from what I'm hearing, it's looking like Balak is most likely going to be that guy. But I guess it's just a matter of time. You guys, even though I'm trying to learn and understand fully how things work with the club, I don't know how everything 1000% works. You know, let's say you're targeting this player, that player, that player, and that player. I don't know if the club do all of that at the same time, or if they focus on, I don't know, one target at a time. That's something I want to find out and really try and get an understanding of. I think with director of football, again, with how we're going to use him, he's not going to be really bringing in any players for the first team. He's really going to be used for like the loan army and for the youth team. So it's not really a priority to get him in right now, if you know what I'm saying. He's not really necessarily needed just yet. But from everything I'm hearing, it's looking like Balak is the favourite to get this role. I mean, that's what I said guys in that video. You know, Luis Campos is going to be staying with Lille for another season. Of course, the other directors of football, you know, Monkey, and I think the guy that signed as well, they've, you know, they're not available in the market anymore. And, you know, Marina wants to try and bring back an ex-Chelsea player to be that director of football. So I got to give her credit for that. She does want to have some, you know, some respected players in the higher-up roles. And I think Balak could be a fantastic guy for that. Other questions? Okay, Tom Lacey. Hey, Nini. Okay, I've answered this one. Vilan Voronov. Milinkovic-Savic is too expensive for Chelsea, 100%. Way too expensive. Archie, okay, shit, everything was fucked up then. Shane, we still haven't signed AI. Uzor Nini, thanks a lot, man. I really appreciate you. But please, I need feedback on Hazard. It's going to be a big mistake if Chelsea lose him. I've kind of feel I talk about Hazard quite a lot. I mean, I think I gave all my opinions in that Hazard video. I've said so many times why I don't think he's leaving. I'm hearing stuff that's supporting what I'm saying as well. So if I'm you guys, I wouldn't really be worrying about Hazard at all, to be honest. I think, you know, we got to be like more attentive at the news we read, you know. A lot of times people will at me a lot of these like random news articles on Twitter. And it's like, it's coming from people like, I don't know, The Sun or some like random journalists here or there. And it's kind of like we should understand the difference between people just trying to write stuff to get easy clicks and there being actual, you know, hard-hitting news and hard-hitting facts. Most times it's not like that. With the Hazard situation, there's no report stating anything about him potentially leaving or being close. Everything that you're reading right now is saying that it's looking like it's not going to be happening. So, again, I wouldn't be worrying about Eden Hazard. Aspeth, is Bakayoko good enough for Chelsea? Can he get better? Now, I know a lot of people are thinking his performance is pretty promising against Perth Glory. He did some good things and some bad things, but you guys, it's still 50-50. For every good thing Bakayoko does, he does something bad. And, you know, when you're playing for a club of this level, at such a high level, you know, the way we judge these players has to be a bit more critical, in my opinion. That doesn't mean you've got to hate the players or anything like that, but you got to view them with more of a critical eye. And I kind of think that, you know, it's not good enough for a Chelsea standard for a player to do one thing good and then another thing bad straight after. Yeah, there were times when Baka did drive with the ball pretty nicely, but then he was, let's say, he was under-hitting the pass or over-hitting the pass or not getting on the end of a 1-2, etc., etc. And I don't know. At the same time, as I kept stressing a lot, it's pre-season. That game was purely for fitness, so it was nothing too crazy. But again, I'm really going to judge these guys when it comes to the Community Shield, because that's when we'll get a real understanding of how prepared the team is going to be for the season. Oh, I've got another super chat. Oh shit, Joseph, man. Thanks a lot for, man. That's a lot, bro. Thanks a lot for that. Thanks for supporting the channel, man. Your question is, are we signing Martial as a centre forward or a right winger? What are the chances of shipping Morata off to AC Milan? Would love Dembele, but feel it is not realistic. If we swap Martial for Willian and sell Morata, we would be missing a right winger. Again, okay, I can spend a lot of time on this. Now, as I was reporting you guys in the videos I've done, you know, Martial's looking to play as a centre forward. That's the position he wants to keep playing in. I mean, it makes sense. I mean, he's not going to play in his best position on the left-hand side. There's no way in hell he's going to sign for a team to play on the right-hand side. Centre forward is his position, and I think he would easily complement that Sarri system. Easily, you guys. We're not using our strikers as a target man anymore. The ball can be played to the feet of someone like Martial. I can imagine Martial interlinking with Hazard as well. Sometimes he goes to the left or say centrally, etc., etc. Plus, it's going to be, you know, his pace and his movement and his finishing, you know. We forget how clinical he is inside the box. And again, if we're signing Martial, we're signing him to play as a centre forward. The other question is, what's the chances of Morata going to AC Milan? Well, it's going to come down to Morata. Now, again, I don't live with the guy. I don't know him personally. With these types of situations, you guys, you know, one day he might be like, I definitely want to go. But who knows? Let's say hypothetically, after spending a week with Sarri, he's like, oh shit, I'm enjoying the training sessions. Things are looking promising right now. My wife has just obviously given birth. Maybe I don't necessarily need to take the move just yet. AC Milan, yeah, I get to live in a city and country I love. But I mean, in terms of my career right now, do I really want to be signing for AC Milan right now? I can't answer that for Morata. It's going to come down to him. So I kind of feel that situation is going to be a bit touch and go. And your question on Dembele. Would love Dembele, but I feel it is not realistic. If we swap Martial for Willian and sell Martial, again, this Dembele thing, who knows? I don't want to be saying it's completely unrealistic just yet. We could be. What if we were creative when it came to securing this deal? I mean, let's say hypothetically, number one, I'm guessing if Barca did potentially sell Dembele, they would want a replacement. I mean, they've spoken to Willian so long, it would kind of feel like a waste to not continue down that pursuit. But what if there was a deal involving Willian and Dembele plus money? That could make a lot of sense for Chelsea. What if, for a hypothetical situation, we pay a loan fee to take Dembele on loan for the season and then pay for him the following season? I mean, we saw Paris Saint-Germain do that with Mbappe. That's the second hypothetical. And, you know, I can't imagine Barca demanding 200 million. I mean, you know, to be able to demand that type of money, you have to perform a bit, you know. He didn't really play in the World Cup. He hasn't really done bits of Barcelona just yet, even though there's a lot of context in regard to why he hasn't performed as well. So let's not rule anything out as being too unrealistic just yet. You know, when a player wants to go, crazy things happen. But anyway, Joseph, man, thank you for that super chat. It means a lot, man. Thanks for that. Other questions. Azio Rap, Monaco got a new midfielder. Yep. Gulliver might not go there after all. Again, with a lot of these Monaco players they've signed, I know there are a lot of youth players. I don't really know all of them, to be honest. So I don't know what type of midfield player this new Monaco signing is. I mean, they've sold João Moutinho. I'm guessing that if you know, maybe that signing replaces Moutinho. Let's say Moutinho still stayed at Monaco. I think they'd still go for a Golovin regardless. So I don't know if that necessarily does affect anything. Okay, Sideshow Bob, Hazard should leave, but he won't. Hazard shouldn't leave at all. 100% not. Chris Douglas, is Fekir a realistic target? I think so. I think the fact that he's realistic is due to the fact that, you know, this guy was in a Liverpool shirt. I mean, he did his interviews as well. You can't get closer to signing for a club. Now, everyone knows the reported fee was around 62 million. So I'm guessing that if a club did try to come in for Fekir, you know what his asking price is. So I'm guessing it could be a possibility. But still, when it comes to Fekir, if you sign this guy, you have to play him centrally. You've got to play him as a centre forward. You can't play him on the right-hand side, in my opinion. You need to have pace there. And I kind of feel that if you're that guy playing essentially in the Sarri system, pace doesn't necessarily matter as much, you know. Kamal AA, hey man, is there any substance to the Thiago links? And what's the news on Bailey? As I said with Thiago, it's coming out from ESPN. They're not the most reliable sources, let's be serious. But it just further emphasizes this whole thing about, you know, Bayern have been reporting to wanting to sell Thiago for how many months now. So it's just reinforcing that. And who knows what's going to happen from there. You know, as I said, you guys, with the transfer window, sometimes, you know, players become available in the market that weren't available before. And sometimes players that were available don't become available anymore. I mean, let's be serious. If you guys saw my tweet earlier, cast your minds back to when Arsenal signed Ozil and Sanchez. Now, let's be serious. Let's be deadly serious. If Ozil and Sanchez were available at the beginning of the transfer window, I don't think there's any way in hell Arsenal are signing both those players. Arsenal are in a unique situation because by the time these two were available, every other rival club had already strengthened or signed the players they needed. They couldn't afford to sign these guys anymore. They weren't needed for the team. So this is how Arsenal were really able to have that clean running when it came to signing Ozil and Sanchez. And who knows, this could be a similar situation with Thiago. As the report said, they were correct. Bayern have 9 midfielders right now. Now, who knows? I'm guessing Sanchez might be leaving again. Talks of Vidal leaving and Thiago. They've been the 3 guys that have been constantly reported as, being the guys that would make way for next season. So, who knows? Who knows? Case and Gomez, Nini, would you take Zaha at Chelsea? I like Zaha a lot. I think he's a great player, a very good player. And I kind of feel with his exploits last season, I think he's shown that he's one of the best attacking players in the country, in my opinion. He needs to be playing at a higher level. I think he's showing it right now. His overall game has really improved a lot. I mean, in terms of defenders when he runs at opponents, he plays with no fear. His finishing, how many times was he a match winner for Crystal Palace last year? Zaha wasn't able to do that before when he was really young. And also his decision making in the final third. This guy does bits. He's a very good player. He'd be an interesting guy to look at, maybe for the right-hand side, who knows? I think maybe on the right-hand side, Zaha could be an option as well. As I think as Simon Phillips keeps reporting, he's been hearing about Zaha Chelsea links for a long time. And maybe there could be something with that. I think Zaha is a good player. And I think he can improve a lot more under Sarri as well. And I think, his skill set complements playing with better players compared to playing with guys like Benteke, you know what I mean? Got another super chat, I think. Okay, what is it? 619 Predator. Why no links with Icardi? Bailey links real. Now, the whole Icardi thing, this was just coming out from Italy. As I'm starting to realise too, and I think a lot of us are too, we shouldn't always get too gassed about things coming out from Italy, to be honest. I think with Icardi, as I kept saying in all the videos I did, I thought it was the most blatant attempt at trying to pressurise Inter Milan into giving him a better contract. I don't see that changing. I mean, Inter have been investing money. I mean, signing guys like Lautaro Martinez, Nainggolan, etc., etc. They're in the Champions League as well. It's probably the strongest Inter have been since Mourinho was there. I don't think Icardi is thinking of a move away. Not when they're onto something good right now. So, if I was you guys, I'd forget about Icardi. The Leon Bailey links real. I mean, they've always been real. I mean, the club have been liaising with him for how many years? Since he was young. You don't give up connections and contacts like that. You don't just forget about him straight afterwards. Again, we were talking about him in January, which was a real thing too. And there have been some talks too during the summer with Craig. But as I said in that video I released last month, expect to hear things closer to near the ends of the window. But again, with Bailey, it was always going to come down to Craig Butler and, how you find good terms with him. Okay, what other questions? Okay. Okay, Kwame, Nini, would you take Lacazette if he was available? Lacazette won't be available. I think Arsenal are already using systems where they're using both Lacazette and using Aubameyang, so I wouldn't even worry about that. Gaming Tech, would a swap deal with Morata for Higuain be worth it for us? I'm not too sure, to be honest, if I'm being serious. I don't really think so. Because I'm thinking with Morata in his age, you can get quite a lot of money for him. So, I don't know. At the same time with Higuain, let's not forget the power of the Chinese market. I mean, with someone like Higuain, you could use him for a year. And I wouldn't be surprised if a Chinese club tried to sign him. I mean, that's the type of marquee player clubs over there are trying to sign all the time. And I think, let's say after Higuain spent a year at a different club, he might think, well, I'm getting older now. I can be making a fortune in China. Who knows? That's just it could be a possibility, but as I'm saying, you know, we're not even talking to Higuain, so you guys, I wouldn't be thinking about him just yet, to be honest. I think I've got another super chat. Thank you, Blake. Who do you think will move on this transfer window that doesn't fit the Sarri board system? Who will be a player to watch this season in your opinion? Now, you guys, in a way, I kind of feel that all the players we have can suit playing under Sarri. You know, we have to remember, everything gets worked on during training sessions. So naturally, no matter what ability you are going to improve. You are going to get used to how you need to play, and like the rules you need to follow as well. So I think with the club of our size and some of the players we do have, I don't think it's a case where, you know, a lot of players just wouldn't do anything because they're not good enough. I mean, let's not forget when he took over Napoli. You know, Napoli under Benitez, kind of similar. You know, they were playing a pragmatic style of football, and everyone kept talking about guys like Hamsik not being good enough, Koulibaly not being good enough, Martin not being good enough. So many of these guys not being good enough. Sarri worked with them first 2 months. You can see the improvement. They end the season on a much better level compared to that season under Benitez. And then from each season following that, they just kept improving and improving, and all the players got better as well. So I'm not going to say it doesn't fit the Sarri ball system, but the players I think will be leaving, probably Cahill, as I've said for a while, Drinkwater as well. Wouldn't be surprised to see obviously Willian and Pedro leaving as well too. Possibly either Michley, Batshuayi or Morata. There's going to be a lot of stuff happening near the end, and even if some players don't leave during the summer, I expect some players to leave during the January window as well. I mean, let's not forget, you guys, we do make quite a lot of money in the January window selling players. I mean, you know, when Conte first came, guys like Mikel left, Ivanovic left, and Oscar left as well. We've seen guys like Ramirez leave in the window as well. Who left last season, last January? I think Costa left. I mean, technically, you could say it was the January window he left. And who was another player that left in January? Probably someone else. I can't remember on the top of my head. But yeah, you guys, if we don't sell all the players in the summer, expect them all to leave, you know, expect the rest of those guys to leave during January. But yeah, as I'm saying, you know, Michley, Cahill, Pedro, maybe Zappacosta too, Drinkwater, those, you know, those guys. Ayub, thank you for that super chat, man. Nini, what's your thoughts on the Sane comments? Now, I think just to paraphrase, he was talking about us being, you know, us being Man City's title contenders, which I personally believe, you guys. I don't think it's necessarily going to be a case of a transition year. I don't think so. I think that we are going to be competing. And I think if you're a Man City player, of course, because, you know, when they played against Sarri's system. They played against Napoli last year in the Champions League. You can imagine with Pep Guardiola, you know, spent a ton of time in the training ground working on ways to try and counter against Napoli, to try and beat them. And they were very difficult games for Man City. Even though they did games, they were still very hard games. So it's natural that if Sarri's going to a team that has better individual players compared to Napoli, it's natural that, you know, you are going to see them as a threat and they are going to be dangerous. You know, as I keep saying, you guys, we're going to be a different proposition now. It's not going to be a Chelsea team where we're playing with 30% possession against Man City or 30% against freaking Arsenal, 30% against Liverpool. Those days are gone now under Sarri. You guys consistently will probably be keeping possession against all these teams. So this is what I mean, you guys. It's time to be excited. Okay, other questions. Ahmed Hassan, yep. Was Chelsea's interest in Pulisic ever serious? I don't know, to be honest. Again, I didn't really hear anything personally, but at the same time, I'm not going to hear about every single thing. I'm guessing maybe there's logical sense, you know, with Dortmund looking at Michley Batshuayi. It's natural that Chelsea will have multiple targets for each position. I wouldn't be surprised if discussions were held. I don't think it's too outside the box to imagine. Okay, other questions. One for Suarez. Chelsea might go for a player like David Neres. Or do you think Chelsea will go for Bailey or Fekir? As I keep saying, I think Fekir makes more sense in the middle. I don't think you're going to sign him to play on the right-hand side. Neres, he's a very good... He had a good season for Ajax last year. He looks very promising. Who knows, you guys? You know, I was making that point earlier during the stream, talking about the fact that I wouldn't be surprised to see like the Zappa Costa equivalent, you know, or the Marcus Alonso equivalent, you know, the guys that just came right at the end. The deals were wrapped up very quickly for them because we weren't able to secure the first choice, second choice, or third choice targets. Hopefully, it doesn't happen again. But if something like that did happen, I wouldn't be surprised if like someone like Neres was like the equivalent of like signing those guys right at the end, because I can imagine that, let's say you give Ajax 40 million, I don't think they're going to say no to that. You know, I think I've got another super chat as well. Okay, three more. Thank you, Modas CFC. Thank you, bro. Will Barkley be a starter? I hope so. Now with the Ross Barkley thing, that the 5 talking points video will be coming out tomorrow instead. I mean, I was busy today. I had other commitments alongside obviously making videos too. And again with Barkley, I mean, it was a decent performance. I wasn't particularly gassed about everything because again, sometimes, as I'm always stressing all the time, you know, we should, because we're fans of Chelsea and we're a top club, let's not forget that. It's okay to admire the position of a player, but we do have to see the end product from that player as well. It should be a combination of application and end product. And a lot of times with Barkley, yeah, he did some nice moments of play, but when it came to decisive things in the final third, he was doing the wrong thing. You know, he's scuffing his shot, not connecting properly, holding onto the ball for too long instead of playing someone in. You know what I mean? I think that some people might think, oh, you're being so harsh, you look good. But that's what I'm trying to say. We need to look at, we have to keep end products and applications separate. You know, sometimes I think that, you know, oh, because the player looks like he gave us all and he gave effort and he tried, that counts as a good performance, which I don't necessarily believe. But I mean, let's be serious. Barkley playing in that hamster role makes a ton of sense. Because again, you can see him drive with the ball. Barkley, remember, he was playing close to strikers when he was at Everton. So again, it naturally complements what he does. Playing in that hamster role where he does have the license to break the lines and push up with the front three as well. I can imagine that if Barkley was kept, he's only going to grow under Sarri. You know what I mean? So yeah, of course he's not a bad player, not at all. But it'll be interesting to see. Yeah, man. Thank you, bro. I think Mitchie should stay and be our number one. I'm not going to lie, you guys. I've always said this too. I kind of see Mitchie as like a Falcao-esque striker. And what do I mean by that? Falcao, you know, in his prime was one of the best, like, penalty box strikers. And I mean, it was his finishing, you know, left foot, right foot, curling efforts, powerful efforts, you know, accurate with his head as well. And it's like every time he shot, you felt confident it was going to go in the goal. And I think with Michy Batshuayi, one thing he has that a lot of the top class finishers have is that he's very, very clinical. The guy knows how to play inside the box. I mean, it's no surprise he did bits for Dortmund last year. Some of the goals he scored to inside the box as well. It's going to do wonders for him because it's like, yo, we don't have to see Michy pretending to be a footballer anymore. And what do I mean by that, even though I sound a bit rude? We don't have to see Michy dropping deep to link up the play or win balls in the air. You don't have to do that because he ain't that striker. He's a striker that's supposed to be making runs in the box. And I'm not going to lie, you guys, if I could pick between Michy and Morata, I would go for Michy because, as I keep saying, he's very clinical. And I think in the Sarri system, most of the goals we're going to see next season are going to be coming from open play. And because it's coming from open play, you're going to need people taking their chances and finishing their efforts. And you know, with Michy Batshuayi, let's say if he got 3 chances in a game, he's going to score one of them. But if it's Morata, he'll probably miss all of them. Morata needs... I think that this guy can really do something. He can provide something a lot. This is why when I'm hearing stuff about Icardi and Higuain, even though they're very good players, I don't think they're necessarily needed. I mean, let's not forget, Michy is still young at 23, 24. Playing in his natural position under someone like Sarri, he's only going to get better. And I think that his ceiling is probably higher than Morata's when it comes to being that finisher, you know? But thanks for that. And thank you, Predator, for another super chat. Your question is, never stop making videos. You're a legend. Thanks for that, bro. Thanks, man. Thanks for that. That's one thing, though. Like, I'm never good at how to handle compliments. You know what I mean? But I think it's, like, natural for everyone to really handle that. But again, I'm not going to lie. I know I say that same bullshit of I appreciate it. I mean, I really do, you know. I always try to think of words that really reflect, obviously, like how I feel. And of course, the front three, what goalkeeper do you want? Now, to answer your question, I don't want to see Ruben anywhere near those advanced positions. He's not a... He makes sense. He's a midfielder. He's you know, he's the Barkley, the Hamsik, these guys, you know. That's his game. I think it's a complete waste if he was used on the right. And it's kind of like he'd be getting token minutes. I think deep down, if you're Ruben, not after you've been to a World Cup and had a good season with Crystal Palace, token minutes won't be good enough, you know. And I think that I'm really excited to see what Sarri is going to do with Ruben. I think Ruben can be a top player. I really do. I mean, he's pretty complete, and I just think that the more the more the positive sides of his game are obviously implemented and really encouraged to come out, the better he's going to be and the more confident he's going to be as well. For me, midfielder, he's not a forward player. And what goalkeeper do you want? I mean, that's an interesting one. Ideally, you guys, I'd probably just keep Courtois for now. There's not many great keepers available just yet. I mean, ideally, I wanted Alisson, but he went to Liverpool. I'm trying to think. I mean, Donnarumma could be an interesting one because of his age and because he's young. I think Lafont's already gone to Fiorentina, so he's out the question. Yeah. It's always harder to sign goalkeepers, you know. Joseph25, thanks again for another super chat, bro. You're supporting me too much, man. You really are. Any updates on Kante's new contract? Does Sarri rate him as highly as the rest of us? Also, is Ruben Kyoko leaving? Well, I think every manager rates Sarri. No one has anything bad to say. I mean, nothing's come out about what Sarri thinks about Kante. I haven't heard anything personally, to be honest. But I kind of think that if someone like Arsene Wenger praises Kante for his technical abilities, and you know that Arsene Wenger's like he's like a scholar when it comes to this stuff, then there's no way in hell that someone like Sarri can have reservations about Kante. I mean, let's be, as I keep saying, you guys, you know, with what we're doing this season, we're replicating everything that Napoli were doing, but just trying to just upgrade it, you know. Alan played that role. Kante is naturally going to complement that role. You know, if Sarri is encouraging Alan and using him and developing him, then there's no way in hell that you're not going to be happy with Kante. So I don't think he's worried about that. With Kante's contract situation, I haven't heard anything just yet, other than the fact that he does want to sign a new contract. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Also, is Ruben staying? This is the thing I can't 100% clarify, because I'm hearing from one source he definitely is, and I'm hearing from the other one that he definitely isn't going to stay. So I can't really give an answer on that one. But thank you. And is Bakayoko leaving? It depends. Again, I'm not hearing anything just yet about Baka leaving. I know from the media, possibly. I mean, there was talks of Sevilla being linked with him. That could happen. Who knows? Maybe that could be good for him. You know, I think maybe playing for a team like Sevilla, where you're playing week in, week out, you can afford to make mistakes and improve from them. You can get that confidence, and they're a footballing club as well. I mean, maybe for his long-term development, spending a year on loan at Sevilla could be good for him. And Raul Cortez, thank you for the super chat, bro. Nini, instead of sending mass tweets to the club, how can fans be more efficient at sending our thoughts and opinions to the club? Again, let's look at what other countries do. You know, they protest in the stadium. You know, maybe they won't go to the game. Maybe they'll turn their back to the pitch. Money talks. Unfortunately, you know, it's cynical, I know, but clubs are big businesses. If we want our voices to be heard, it's got to be large protests or people don't go to the stadium. if Chelsea are playing, no one goes to it. That's going to speak volumes because, again, no one wants to miss out on money. You know, Chelsea, you know, they've got a lot of advertisers and companies they work with. That's not good for them either. They're the only two ways I can see it happening. But realistically, you know, people just don't really work together like that, unfortunately. So, yeah, I know it's a tricky one. But I think that with Chelsea right now, I don't think it's even the right time to really need to send anything out to the club. I think they're trying to start something new here. They're trying to go in a more positive direction. I think, for example, let's say if we sign someone like I don't know, who's like a negative manager. Let's say we sign someone like Luis Enrique. He's not a negative one, but I mean, you know, Luis Enrique symbolizes everything the Chelsea board would have done in the past. Oh, he's won this, he's won that. He's a big name. Who cares about anything else? The fact we went for Sarri, and again, you guys, we all forget this. Marina in her statements talking about the fact that he is going to need time, he's going to need this, he's going to need that. She understands the footballing aspects to the Sarri signing, and the fact that we spent so many months pursuing this guy says everything. So as I said, now's the time to be patient with the club. They're trying to do new things here. You know, Zola's come back, club legends. Sarri's here, Jorginho's here as well. I think positive things are happening, in my opinion. Other questions? Dan CFC, hey man, you good? Should we have sold Aki? Would he start for us now? Well, the Aki, when he was sold, it kind of did fund the Rudiger deal, in a sense. I think with Nathan Aki, he has that buyback clause. I think at the end of this season, let's see what happens. Let's say Luis decides to leave after this year and go to Benfica or something. Chelsea might decide, oh shit, Aki had another good season. Maybe it makes sense to sign this guy back because he's not going to cost us much. So I think for Nathan Aki, it's going to be interesting to see what he does for this season for Bournemouth. Okay. You guys, as I said, as the stream nears its end, I am going to answer the Patreon subscribers' questions, so don't worry about that. Other questions to ask. Damn, I'm getting so many. Sorry, you guys, I do feel really bad that I can't answer everyone's. I mean, there's like 920 people here. It is pretty hard. Future, do you think Masunda has a future at Chelsea? And do you think he has the potential of Odoi? But I definitely think he does. I mean, with Hudson-Odoi, with Masunda, this guy can play essentially. He can play on the left and play on the right. And he can play in midfield as well. Now, for me, this guy is very malleable. You can do a lot with this guy, depending on who the manager is going to be. Ideally, I'm hoping that he's going to be the backup player on the right-hand side, regardless of who's signed on the right-hand side, because I think with the amount of games we'll be playing, there's going to be a lot of rotation this season, and I think that Masunda definitely has a chance to show what he can do. I think we can't forget he's a great player. You know, those short loan spells at Real Betis, I mean, this guy was, when it came to his dribbling stats, he was just underneath Neymar and Messi. And let's not forget that. I mean, he came halfway through the season, and it was you know, giving stats like this, and he was a key player for them, a very key player. And I think a lot of these times, you know, just because these loans are successful, it's not because the players are shit. It comes down to the circumstances of being a loanee player. Unfortunately, it's very rare that a club will sign a loan player to be a star player for them. It's very rare. I mean, for example, you know, Mount going to Derby, that's an exceptional situation because Mount had offers from Germany, from Werder Bremen. RB Leipzig wanted to sign him as well. It was only because Lampard was there, and you know, they were able to sign a player that they have no right getting, in my opinion. And I think that's the only time when loan players really work, you know. I just think that too often, you know, with how football works, most loan players are brought in by clubs because they're cheaper backup. You know, instead of you spending money to sign someone and to pay him this, pay him that, they're just good short-term backup. And unfortunately, you know, when you've got 40 guys who look to loan out regularly, a lot of times mistakes will be happening. So again, I'm making this answer because it's not because Masunda's shit. I just think that, again, it's the circumstances of being a loanee player. It's hard. I mean, it really is. But I definitely think this guy's got a future. I think he's a fantastic player, fantastic technical ability, dribbling ability. we can see what he can do. Remember that game against Brighton when he was in midfield, when we played 3-5-2 and he made the assist at the end. I mean, he's an all-round footballer, and he works very hard to. No one can ever deny this about Masunda. He trains and takes his profession very seriously. And I think maybe if Sarri's got a watchful eye over him, there could be positives for him. Who knows? Okay, Jake Home, we need Pickford or a goalkeeper outside BPL. I mean, some of you guys remember the video I released on the goalkeepers, but as I said, you know, the goalkeepers were, you know, guys like Schmeichel, Pickford, Butland as well, Lafont, and, you know, Allison, they were all targets. Okay, Unruly Bads, Nini, tell me what you think about Modric. Real Madrid wants him out. Will he be like a beast in the Sarri system? I mean, with Modric, I mean, could he play that hamstring role? I mean, yeah, he's good enough where he could. I don't think Chelsea would spend that type of money on someone when they have someone like Cesc and Jorginho. So I don't think Modric is even needed, to be honest. Okay. Abdurraham Masunda in the hamstring role as backup. Hey, I think it could make sense. I think it could make a lot of sense if he was used. And this is what I mean. He's a very malleable player. It's going to depend on what the individual manager or coach does with him. Pjanic was trash. Again, you guys, I'm not being critical or harsh on players in that preseason game. Let's not forget it was purely for fitness. So, you know what I mean. No, sorry about that. I'm just hearing some screaming outside. How about Kenneth Amuro? I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if someone from Taiki tried to sign him. But, I mean, he's definitely got no future at Chelsea. Joe Vlogs, do you think Hazard will? Nope, he's not going. Clifford, yes, Clifford. Listening to you instead of my music. It's worth it. Thanks, man. Appreciate that. Nini, you mentioned a week ago that you were going to upload a video that would be... Dang. I don't know if I should give a slight hint at what it could be. But I think if I do that, knowing everyone's going to be on social media doing this, doing that. I kind of think if it's a surprise, it'll be better. All I can tell you guys was that the video was being reviewed first before I could release it. So make of that what you will. But 1000% this Friday and Saturday, those videos will be coming out because it is going to be a bit of a series. This Friday, I'm going to be at my friend's wedding. He's getting married, been with this girl for so long, like such a long time. It's going to be good. So, and yeah, I'm going to be releasing it at 5 PM on Friday. So don't worry. The video is basically ready. I think I'll probably upload it in advance just to be safe. But yeah, this Friday at 5 PM, you will see it. And you guys, it's going to be kind of mad. I'm not going to lie. Like, I'm excited for everyone to see this video. So, yeah, as I'm saying, no one's going to expect what it is. But yeah, it's going to be good. It's going to be good. Do I have any more super chat questions? I don't. I'm going to answer the chat room's questions for the next 5 minutes. And then after that, I'm going to be moving on to the Patreon questions. And then it's going to be an end to tonight. Charles Hanley, thanks for that, bro. King Cody, Nini, do you think Barkley is better suited for the hamstring role compared to Ruben? I don't think it's a case of... I don't think we have to create this competition between the two. I think they both complement the hamstring role. It's not about who can do it better than the other one. They both can do it. So, I mean, that's how I see it personally. Wendy, hey Wendy. Sometimes I wish our youth would just give up on the dream of playing for Chelsea and focus on themselves. They need to. Some youth have been setting that trend so far already. Wouldn't be surprised. I mean, there's still talks of Monaco and Hudson-Odoi. That's been there for a while. There's a reason why Chelsea are trying to gas him up now. They're trying to give him a 5-year deal. They're trying to give him a squad number. I'm sure Sarri's going to be talking to him as well. I think if I'm Hudson, I would stay. I think this time, you know, it's going to be real this time. I think that Sarri will use him. I think if he's back up to Hazard on the left, he'll get game time. And yeah, he's a top player. I mean, he's a very good player. Yeah, he's easily good enough to be playing in the Premier League. And I make this comparison all the time. You know, remember when Raheem Sterling, he was 16, made his debut for Liverpool, etc., etc. Now, if you were to compare Hudson-Odoi at his age now to Sterling, who would you say is a much more complete player? For me, I think it's an easy one. It's definitely Callum Hudson-Odoi. Now, if Raheem Sterling, who wasn't as good back then, can be playing in the Premier League for a club like Liverpool at that age, then Hudson-Odoi can easily do that if given the chance. So I think Hudson knows that. He knows he's a great player. Listen, so many clubs are trying to talk to this guy. They're in contact with him. He knows the world's at his oyster. He can do what he wants. So yeah, it's going to literally come down to if Sarri can gas him up too and really tell him, you know what, you are going to get game time. You are going to play. Okay. G-Man, is the vid on Friday about a transfer? I'm not telling you guys what it is. I'm just telling you it's a surprise. Dan, sorry, I butchered that surname for a second, bro. Sorry. You good? Why does no one at the club rate Mitchley? I don't want him to be our next Belgium superstar. Mistake. It seems like we've got this habit of Belgian players that we do possess because they all have a habit of leaving and doing very well. And hopefully Mitchley doesn't continue down that line. Ideally, you guys, I would probably sell Morata. Number one, because you get more money for him. And I think that Mitchley would do bits if he was to stay. I've got no more. Okay, Nicholas. Masunda needs to be more selfish like he was at Real Betis. He passes too much at Chelsea. He doesn't want to lose the ball. I mean, this is the thing. This can be... I know why you're making that comment too. I remember one of the commentators for that game making that point. But, you know, he only came on for 15 minutes. Yeah, the reality of football is when you come on so late, you need to get a feel of the game first. You can't just come in... let's say 75 minutes into a game and just play straight away. You need to get your confidence there. You need to get a feel. So he didn't really have enough time to show what he can do. So I'm not going to use that against him too much. Ben Loughton, unrelated Chelsea question. How do you think Wolves will go this season? Hey, they're looking decent. João Moutinho's a good one. All those Portuguese links, I mean, you know, stuff's happening there. I can imagine Moutinho even coaching Ruben Neves as well. Because Moutinho was a top class European midfield player. There's no doubts about that. Andrej Nini, do you think we will be top 4 this season? And then what do you think will be the top 4 this season? I kind of think that we might be second this year, but I still think it's going to be a good year. I can see Man City winning because I think a bit further along in their development as a team. And then I think it's going to be either Liverpool, United or Tottenham, to be honest. Okay. Tiggs, I missed the Lewandowski links. For real, man. G-Man, if we were to sign Dembele, what way of getting signing him? What's the most realistic way? I think I was saying this at the start, but obviously weren't at the start. I wouldn't be surprised if maybe there was an option where, okay, Willian could be involved, or a second option, maybe sign him on loan for a year and then plan on buying him for next season. I wouldn't be surprised if something like that did happen. Costs a lot. I mean, he costs money. Let's be serious. I think it would be pretty complicated too. Who knows? Harry Spicer, which Chelsea players are in your fantasy? For me, I mean, I'm hearing Dembele, what he's saying now, it's got me a bit excited. I mean, to be honest, the only 2 players I want us to sign would be Dembele and Martial. I think if we just sign those 2 players, as I'm saying, you know, we're being linked with new names, but I mean, is Rugani an upgrade to anyone? No. Is Golovin, even though he's a great player, is he levels above Ruben and Barkley? He isn't, even though he is a good player. Is Higuain really needed? No, I don't think so either. That's what I mean. So if you really think of it in that aspect, I think if we just sign 2 players, just Martial and you know, Bailey or Dembele or someone, I think that's all we need, to be honest. RNFC, do you think we will need more link-up play with Jorginho and the centre-backs? Yeah, 100%, of course. Of course. That's why you play. AJ reacts, Martial is average. He is not average at all. Let's not do this reactionary thing where, you know, I don't understand. We got this habit of, you know, at one stage we criticised Mourinho because obviously he doesn't get the best out of his players. But at the same time, we then say that, oh, those same players that haven't been performing for Mourinho because he doesn't get the best out of them, they aren't good enough. I mean, how many... I think by now, people should have learnt their lesson. How many times were there situations where all the players we had were shit and weren't good enough? But then the minute he left, oh shit, these guys are good players. So, I mean, that's how I see it from my opinion. Will, yes, Will, you good? Priorities, Dennis. Nini, my girlfriend wants to have sex, but I can't leave this live stream. You're gonna have to tell her to wait a bit longer, bro. You're gonna have to tell her to wait a bit longer. I don't know. Tell her to. I was gonna say something stupid, but on the stream. I get paranoid with YouTube. You can't say too many crazy things. D Lord, yes, bro, you good? Hey, yes, Nini. Regarding Marshall, do you think he should hand in a transfer request? I think probably it will probably end up happening like that, to be honest. I mean, he does want to go, and I think the most interesting report I saw was from The Guardian recently, talking about Mourinho softening his stance on letting Marshall leave. So hey, as I've been saying this for a long time, I think I was the first one to talk about Chelsea and Marshall being linked to. I mean, we've been speaking to him and his agent already, so hey, it's not impossible that something happens here. I'm going to make sure no one sent any super chats I've missed. Okay, no one has. I'm going to answer one more question here, and then I'm going to be answering the Patreon questions. Okay, Ali, Nini, I prefer Marshall as a winger to a striker, to be honest. That is not taking into consideration the change in the role of a striker, Marshall with Farah Sorry. I hear you, but I think that he can translate his best abilities up front as well, and I think that's what Marshall wants. I think he's always been a striker, really. Striker's been his best position, you know. He's never really been a left winger, to be honest. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's it, you guys. That was the last one. I'm going to be answering the Patreon questions now. You guys, sorry for the wait, but I'm here now. It's all good. I've got messages here. I hope no one sent any posts, because that's how I forget sometimes. Christian, yes, man. Just in response to my question about Roma and Bailey, I think Roma could afford him with the 70 million from the Alisson sale. I think so too, but I think with someone like Roma, let's not forget, you know, they have their financial worries too. I think what they like to do is they like to sell players for more and then buy replacements for less, because the profit, you know, they keep the profit that way, and that's how they can stay afloat. So this is why I don't see Roma selling, you know, using all the funds for Alisson for Bailey. Let's be serious. I don't think Roma are there just yet to be challenging for Serie A. And I think when you sign someone like Bailey for 70 million, you're signing that guy because you're trying to win something, you know. Forward thinking, hey man, hey Nini, so proud of how you're growing. Yeah, again, you guys, I just realized I got past 35,000 today. I think I'm on like 35,200. So the growth it's been good. It's been good. Thanks for that, man. My question is, what games, if any, could we see Jorginho and Fabregas playing as dual registas? Perhaps versus Everton, Palace away from home to control the tempo and silence the home fans. At the same time, you know, Fabregas can play in those advanced forward positions. I mean, we've seen him do it at Chelsea. We've seen him do it at Barca there. You know, and with Mourinho especially, you know, Oscar would drop deeper. Sask would then move further forward up. So I don't think it would be them playing in that position, because no team needs two registas. You only need one for that role. But I think Fabregas can just show his qualities further up the pitch. And again, I keep saying, you guys, again, as you guys saw firsthand, the versatility in Fabregas, you know, he is that replacement for Jorginho, and he does provide the qualities in the final thirds in midfield. That's how I see it. Yeah, that's my answer, bro. Thanks for that. Hey, Kai, you good? Why are we wasting money on Golovin, a striker and right winger? Who knows just yet if we are? I mean, it's hard to I don't know. It's hard to answer it. It's hard to say it like that. Do you think we even need a right winger? No, I don't want to see Callum Hudson-Odoi playing on the right. He's better on the left-hand side, essentially, compared to playing on the right-hand side, in my opinion. I think it would be a bit of a waste to see him there, because, you know, one of Callum's best qualities is the fact that he does cut inside and he does take shots on goal. You can't really do that on the right-hand side. You tend to have to play a more support role. I mean, obviously, it makes sense. So the right-hand side is the position for Callum. But the club wasting money on Golovin and we need a striker and right winger. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's slightly worded a bit cynically, a tiny bit, because again, if Golovin was signed, I don't think it would affect us signing a striker or a right winger. But I mean, I do agree with your sentiment. I don't think he is needed. Not when we've got guys like, you know, I know Mount's out on loan. You got you guys like Barkley and Ruben that can play that role. And I don't personally think Golovin is like a massive upgrade over these guys. You know what I mean? As if like, you know, by bringing in like a Isco, then I'd understand because he's an upgrade. But Golovin isn't an upgrade to those guys. So yeah, again, I agree with your sentiment. Andrew Langan, hey man, you good? Hey Nini, what's good? Do you think Callum Hudson-Odoi will be given a legitimate role in the squad next season? I was excited when Nizar Kinsella's stories came out, but Chelsea Youth Twitter seems to think the club just wants him to sign. It's a combination of both, but you guys, the club doesn't tell the manager who to play. It never happens like that. So I think Hudson-Odoi's future is going to be determined on what Sarri has to say and what plans Sarri has. Because I think this time, you know, if Sarri says something, I think he's going to be the manager that's going to follow through. He's going to mean what he says. It's not going to be these false promises of guys like Mourinho and Conte. They like the idea of using youth, but they're too pussy to actually rely on them if they needed to, you know. They'd rather subvert back to their pragmatic, the safe way. But I think with Sarri, I think he's the first manager this time that wouldn't do that. He's worked with youth throughout his career, so he understands how to develop them. So I think when it comes to Hudson, it's going to depend on what Sarri has to say. Will Rayner, hey man, hey Nini, hope you're well. How do you see the Community Shield going, seeing as both Chelsea and City will rest World Cup players? If anything, it should be pretty entertaining. I think it's going to be both teams looking to keep the ball and looking to keep possession, so that should be pretty good. I'm not expecting it to be the best game we've seen, but I think it's going to be entertaining. I think maybe Man City might be ahead with their pre-season a bit more than us. I think they've played some pre-season games already. We're just starting that. We haven't had all our players back just yet. I think with Man City, I don't think there's too many players. Yeah, I think most of their players are back from the World Cup too. You know, guys like I know Sterling just yet, but I think with most of them, I think they're already back at the club, so they're ahead right now with their pre-season development. Other questions from. Okay, let me check the post because sometimes. Okay, Ina, hey man, you good? Hey Nini, you talk about that we don't need pace. I think that we need pace in our defence, especially in our centre-back in the Sarri system. No, but what I meant by pace is I think for the central striker, we don't really need pace for that. I mean, of course, if we're playing with a very high line and playing the offside trap, you need to have defenders that do have pace on the ball. You know, they can't be slow turtles, you know what I mean? But I'm saying for the strikers because it's always going to be about their finishing and their movement and how they stretch the play, etc., etc. That's the most important thing, as I was saying, you guys. You know, guys like Mertens, he kept being called a false nine, and it's just like, just because you're a small striker doesn't mean you're a false nine. You know, false nine is like a Iniesta. That implies that you're the guy that's dropping deep to link up with the midfield. You know, with guys like Mertens and Higuain, they were averaging like 25 passes a game, which is nothing, because their whole priority was their runs and their movement. And that's what I meant, you know, playing up front, it doesn't necessarily matter about the pace, you know. But yeah, I agree. I don't understand why Zuma going is an option. I think Sarri could do bits with him. I'm hoping that this Rugani thing falls through. I mean, I'm excited to see what happens with Milan, Juventus in regards to Caldara and Bonucci. With Juventus, they don't sell players with no replacements coming through. Let's say Caldara did leave and they're like, Rugani, you're staying now. Who knows, you know? Let's say Rugani was promised more first team football at Juventus, he might stay. I think it makes more sense, to be honest. There's no point to Rugani. We've got Christensen. He replaced, you know, he replicates that. It makes no sense to me. I'm hoping it's just, you know, it's a smoke screen or some bullshit. K-Max, hey man, no question. Keep up the good work. You're my favourite YouTuber. I anticipate your videos every day. Thanks. Hey, I love hearing it, you guys. As I keep saying, you know, one of the reasons why I started a YouTube channel was the fact that I didn't really have any friends I can talk to about football like this. And with the world we live in today, there's a platform for everyone to really express their passions and to do something with it. And, you know, I look at the stuff I was seeing on YouTube or with media, etc., etc. And I kind of felt that there wasn't the type of voice that a lot of us guys wanted. I'm not saying I'm that voice for you guys, of course not, but I'm just saying that I think I reflect what a lot of people think and what a lot of people, you know, enjoy from football. You know what I mean? So it's glad to see that there's such a big audience when it comes to that type of stuff. Let me check the posts right now. Okay, I think I've answered all the Patreon questions. Dave, Turnip Dave, thanks, bro. Okay, you've posted it, you guys. To anyone that does send me something on Patreon, there's a message function. I send your question to the message function, because sometimes, you know, the only way I even notice that someone's obviously sent something is because I've got my email up at the same time. If I look through Patreon, I wouldn't have even seen someone sent a post. So you guys, the message tab, use that. Turnip Dave, your question is, do you believe that the general level of football knowledge among fans is low? It seems so rare to find actual real discussions of tactics and setups instead of reactionary nonsense. Here's the thing. I say on average, it would be low. I'm not talking about you guys, because I still do kind of feel my channel is a very niche one. And this is what, you know, it links in well with the other point I was making earlier about, you know, reflecting a lot of, you know, what us guys want from the media. But yeah, I would say that, but I think it's something that's definitely growing. I think there's a lot more people fascinated in the tactical part, especially a lot of the young guys. I think I see a lot of great discussions and tons of great threads on Twitter as well. And it's just like a lot of people are getting it. I think that, I don't know, I kind of think that if the tactical talk is, if it's out there and it's, you know, if it's part of the discussion, naturally, you know, more people that wouldn't be thinking about it are going to start having thoughts and opinions on it. That's how it works. And in a way, it's just about encouraging more of that talk. And I mean, you know, as I've started doing this channel and obviously being on Twitter, you know, I've been growing bigger and bigger, you know, thank God. And it's just like, I've definitely noticed that the discussions have got a lot better. You know, I spend a lot of time on Twitter. I speak to a lot of people. I'm always seeing tons of great points made by people. As I'm saying, I'm seeing a lot of people doing a lot of the mini videos too, giving their opinions on there. It's definitely changing, and I think it's good. It's exciting. You know, it's good that people want a bit more depth from their football analysis and not just relying on the reactionary stuff. You know, so yeah, I think it's just exciting times in general. What other ones do I have? Corey Bronson, hey bro, thanks for the super chat. Who is the better investment, Martial, Bailey, or Dembele? Can you develop Hudson to play on the right hand side? I mean, you can develop it on the right, but I think it's a waste. I mean, the guy gets goals. You know, he's a goal scoring winger. Got to be either central or the left hand side. Better investment, I think with Martial, Bailey, or Dembele, I think they're all pretty good, to be honest. I think that they're all around the same age, very similar abilities as well. They're all great investment signings. I think maybe Martial could be great. I think either one of Bailey or Dembele, you know. We need someone on the right hand side. We haven't had a natural right winger since Robin. And that's more than 10 years ago. Someone that actually plays on that side and cuts in. We haven't had that. So maybe in the context of that, I think Dembele could be a pretty great one. I think he's younger than Bailey and Martial. And as we saw with what he did with Dortmund, you know, the assists and the goals, this guy can become anything. It's very rare you get a winger that has a left foot and right foot as good as each other. I mean, it's a very, very rare thing to see. He's like 1 in a million in that sense. And I think probably I'd say Dembele would be the better investment out of all three in that context. I think I've answered all the Patreon ones. Okay, Patreon guys, I'm getting more questions. They're the last questions I'm going to ask. I don't want to answer like tons more. I've got a super chat. Let me answer that quickly. Thomas, hey man, why aren't we signing anybody? Thomas, you got to be patient, man. It's there. I was saying this beforehand, and people kept saying the same thing. We're speaking to these players already, so the announcements will be coming. You know, it would be completely different if we weren't linked with anyone. The announcement will come, so I wouldn't be worried about that. Okay, I think I've answered all the questions. I think I've got some more. But you guys, Patreon guys, yeah, I don't want to answer any more now. It's getting kind of late. Christian Valadez, Justin, yep, I've answered that one. Dave, yes, David Gordon, hey man, you good? Nini, who do you think our next signing will be? I think someone gave me that question before. It's a hard one right now, to be honest. It's either out of someone like a Marshall, Golovin, or Rugani so far right now. I mean, it's really hard to say who the next guy is going to be just yet. I might slightly edge towards Golovin, but with what I'm hearing about Monaco now, that could be in doubt. Kaio, okay, I swear I answered your question earlier. Yeah, Kaio, I answered your question earlier. You might have missed it. Yeah, I answered it. Yeah, if you skip back like 10 minutes during this live stream, I spent quite a bit of time answering your question, bro. So don't worry about that. Yeah, don't worry about that. I think that's no more questions then. I think that is everything. I mean, it's gone on for an hour and a half. I wanted to go on for that long, to be honest. Yeah, ideally I would like to keep these at an hour, but I feel bad that I can't answer everyone's questions. But I think from the future I'll be looking to just keep it at an hour maximum, you know. I think that's it. I think no more questions. I think I've answered all the Patreon questions too. If I haven't, I'll answer them next week, so I apologize for that. You guys, I think that's it. I'm gonna love you guys and leave you. Of course, if you want more content, look in the Must Watch playlist tab on my channel. That's for the future-proof content, so you've got stuff to listen to. Of course, I released a video earlier today, so tune in for that. Also, if you haven't watched my Sarri's Predicted 11 video, definitely watch that to get an understanding of what I think the lineup could be. As I said in that video, I put a disclaimer at the beginning, I'm expecting to do an update in the future. But you guys, yeah, I'm gonna keep it moving. It's been a good stream, a lot of great questions. I feel like I've been talking at 1,000,000 miles per hour to try and speed things up and get through as many questions as possible. Apologies to everyone that I didn't get to answer. I mean, there's a lot of people and the chat is constantly just going down, down, down. It does get pretty hard, but again, I apologize. Thank you to everyone supporting the channel. It's been doing bits recently, got past 35k, so thank you to everyone that supports. I'm Nini FC. This is Blue Line CV, signing out.